Hi, and hello, and welcome to a new episode of Weebs Talk About. Ooh, and we are in the game show format. But do not worry, Um, it's not just another game show. It is a bit more. This will be an experience for all of us. But first of all, let me introduce to you the people that I kindly asked to help me, aka the people I am kidnapped at night, forced into this room, and told them they can only leave after they finish their tests. We have Sunny back! Welcome, Sunny!
Hey guys!
I managed to force Eden to be here and be supportive as a friend.
Yeah, that takes so much force. God, I hate being a supportive friend. I would never do that. I hate people and effort.
And I have Amy here. She is technically a co-host, but she will partake in this lesson today because I will explain to you now what we're actually doing. So, you may have seen it somewhere, read it somewhere, heard us talk about it. We don't shut up about it. But Amy and I are working right now on writing a light novel. And for this light novel, we split the work like a little bit equally. And one of my tasks was to create a magic system. Like, make magic work and have explanation for things. And like I could just like have like a little bit of like crickle crackle thingy thingies and just called it, oh yeah, like here are like 5 rules that magic follows, just don't break them. But no, I made an entire half science out of it, and it needs to be reader friendly. So I decided to just turn like everything that you need to know about magic, or at least the basics, and turned it into a school lesson. So from this moment forward, you are all students, and this is your first lesson on magic. We will all work under the pretext that magic does exist, you know of its existence, and that's about it. So don't worry if you don't know anything, feel free to ask it at all times. I will try to explain it to my best abilities. If we do find inconsistencies, there will be a small moment of silence that will be Maho writing down on her sheet of paper what she needs to change. At the end, there will be a Q&A section, so if during the thing or after the thing you have like some more in-depth questions, or you want to know something I didn't mention, feel free to do so. I already made my peace with myself and accepted that there at least be 10 questions from Sunny I won't be able to answer.
That's the reason we brought Sunny along, because we know that he enjoys picking apart world building.
Yeah.
The reason you guys are here is to act like students, like going through your first lesson about magic, and also behind the scenes to pick apart magic for us.
Exactly.
We want to make sure that the magic system makes sense. We want to make sure that the magic system is understandable to this would be like a teenage level. This would be like 14 or 15-year-olds learning this particular lesson. This is the beginner's lesson.
Yep.
This would be like the Magic 101 that you do at high school.
That is correct. So, let me just quickly close this. And
If one of you runs a Magic High School TTRPG, I'm willing to do the homework. Okay. I will literally do homework for each like you can assign homework at the end of each session. Timetable.
I put so much.
Don't tell me the Harry Potter references will be impossible to avoid, but I love that idea so much.
It doesn't need to be Harry Potter. Okay, so
You just get people who hate Harry Potter, so every reference is a fuck you instead.
yeah.
That's all of my friends.
Exactly.
Just so you know, I can like explain a little bit about the school system itself later. But trust me, I'm not giving like 12-year-olds magic wands and tell them to go to wizard school. We're not doing that here.
Yeah, no, this is just a course in a regular school. You can go to specialist magic schools, but they are like, you know, it's the equivalent of
Universities.
arts colleges in our world and universities. Yeah.
Okay, let's.
So in other words, I'm gonna drop out.
Well, no, because this is at high school level. You're not allowed to drop out. You have to take it.
Oh. So in other words, I'm gonna skip class to play computer games.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know. It's learning magic, so
Okay, so you said
magic's cool, right? The cool kids learn magic.
So, Amy, the left or the right key, arrow key to go back? What do you think?
Left, if it's one of them.
Right. I already have my question. That'll make
It
Maho
works.
sad.
Okay, it works. Good to know. So here's a little overview of the things we're doing today. We will talk a little bit about the general things you need to know about magic, the magic measuring system, what curses are, the elemental runes and the manipulation runes, Malin, what is the magical language. We have an example phase where I will go to a drawing program and you can literally tell me to, hey, I will do an example spell, and then you can ask me for other spells to like understand how it works. And then we do the pop quiz, and after the pop quiz is the Q&A section.
There will be a section where you can think of spells that you want Maho to try and figure out how to draw. Yes, we have already prepared Fireball.
Okay. Don't worry, you don't have to read all of this. You just have to listen. So, magic is a type of energy that is inside everything. From like living creatures to the pebble on the ground. Like nothing in this world has zero magic, except for absolutely dead things. Magic flows through your entire body. It is a bit similar to blood, but you cannot drain it like blood, because again, like it's not a liquid. But there is like a constant magic circulation through your body. It doesn't need to be much, but it is there. When you cast, you concentrate the magic inside your hand or your wand to do the magic effect. The same goes if you use Magitech, so technology that requires magic. You don't need to be a caster to use Magitech. You just, for example, you have like a little button and you put your hand on top of it. The Magitech will register your magic and will just use it from your body. And then the button does its magical effect. Being born with magic is not a heritage thing. It is a pure 50/50 chance if you are born with magic or not. Meaning that approximately half of the population has at least the ability to cast magic. That does, however, not mean that you have to go after magical careers. There are many people out there that just do their general magic courses in high school, like the one you're sitting in right now, and don't pursue any other forms of magical education afterwards. And Maho bumped against her mouse. Every time you cast magic or magic from your body is used, you leave behind something that is called a magical signature. Your magical signature is unique. It's like a fingerprint, and it's not something that you can just hide. There's almost nowhere to hide your magical signature. Meaning, if you cast magic, your magic signature will linger. that is especially important for police forces and illegal usage of magic, but that is a bit of a topic for a later point in time, so I will not go in depth with this. To officially be allowed to use magic in public, and not just during lessons, you need a magic license. For you guys, you are in the Magic 101 course. You are right now working towards your D rank magic license. You will get this license after you fulfilled all your lectures during this course, and also after fulfilling the exam that is at the end of this course. For any other type of magic license, like if you want to, get the rank higher, you have to pursue other forms of education. Usually it is for C rank, it is a 1-year course that you can visit, like as an evening school, or the more common thing to do is joining a magic academy, which is the equivalent of a university. You can, however, have your 1-year course for the C rank during college time. Some people do it, some people use college to pursue other things to see if they want to pursue magic or not, and then if they join the Magic Academy, they will start pursuing C rank and above. To cast certain spells, you need a certain magic license, but don't worry, most spells I will showcase today and you will learn during this lesson are all spells you are allowed to cast with D rank. There are some exceptions to show you some more difficult spells, but don't worry too much about it. And one last thing that is important, if you cast magic, there's always a magic component needed. Those magic components, depending on how strong the spell is, could be so minimal that you don't have to prepare those components. You all have right now 1 component staff that you will using during this lesson. There are other staff types that shorten the way of having to prepare magical components, but this is for a later lecture, but you can ask the question if you're curious. Mitch asked the question if you get the license through the government. Yes, there's the Magical Institute. If you fulfill the requirements to get your magic license, your school that where you fulfilled your tests and your curriculum will inform the Magical Institute, and they will make you a new magic license with the updated rank.
Hey, Miguel, I don't want to piss on your bonfire, but that's a British joke. It is a very stereotypical thing for British people to be like, "Hey, yo, you got a license for that, love?"
Oh, I didn't know.
He's like, the question was valid, but he was also mocking the fact that we have a licensing system.
I have a question.
Of course.
Okay, so you said there is a thing called Magitech,
Yes.
which is basically okay. So, can a criminal make a Magitech device and use that, and not worry about the magical signature?
Nope. If you use Magitech, your magical signature will also be present. Even a non-caster has a magical signature, and using Magitech still creates a magical signature.
Also,
Alright.
a little bit of spoiler into the light novel. It does very heavily revolve around magical signatures and somebody finding a way to bypass them. But that is not the way.
Also, hiding or concealing a magical signature is first of all highly illegal, and second of all, it is almost impossible to do so. you will always leave behind parts of your magic signature, meaning you can make it harder to be tracked down, but you cannot make it impossible to be tracked down. But to have Oh, please continue. I want to ask something else.
Well, yeah. So if someone not born with magic has a magical signature, how would you know about that? If that's that person's magical signature, if they can't do magic?
Because it's literally
there are spells to be able to find someone's magical signature, and like you can just use those on. Like before they would know that you're not a caster, your signature would probably be logged somewhere.
Yeah. Also,
No, I see. Sunny's confusion is all people have magic energy, but only some 50% of the population have the ability to cast with that magic. So everybody has like the magic energy, and that magic energy has a magic signature. So like everybody's got fingerprints.
Yeah.
But only some people can use their fingers to cast magic, you know?
Yeah, that was the example I wanted to give. Like, you still have fingerprints. Your fingerprints don't necessarily be registered with the police. But if they question you, they can take your fingerprints and see if they're like aligned with the fingerprints they found on the crime scene. And that's the same with the magic signature. As a caster, your magic signature is registered because that needs to be done to get your magic license. So of course, if a caster does something, they already have a system where the magic signatures is listed. But as a non-caster, they can still check for your magic signature to see if you did something.
Also, big tech companies are working on ways to make Magitech accessible to people who aren't able to cast. That's like one of the main reasons Magitech is being developed. It is still very much in beta phases at the moment, and like only like select stuff can be used. You know, like there'll be faucets out there that can create hot water that non-magic users can use, because that is like a very basic D rank spell.
Gotcha. Does twins affect this at all?
Even twins have slightly different magic signatures. They are highly similar, but not the same.
Even identical twins have different fingerprints. So.
Yes.
Right.
As
Well,
long as magic been around in this world, we're talking Dawn of Time. Dawn of Time.
Yes.
Magic is not something that appeared. Magic is just intrinsically tied into the world. In fact, thousands of years before the plot, there was like a magical war, because of course there was. It's a fantasy world.
The Century
where,
of
the
Darkness.
Two main the two main magical races like essentially fucking warred at each other in true isekai fashion.
next question: Are we just asking questions about the magic in general, or are we going to be talking about the world itself as well?
I would leave the world questions for the Q&A segment. For now, we learn only about magic. We can ask. You can ask question about world history later.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're here specifically to see if this magic system is understandable to teenagers. Because we couldn't get any teenagers when I'd allowed them on Twitch. Also, we hate teenagers.
It's okay. I haven't matured in a very long time.
Teenagers are technically children still, and children are assholes.
Okay. Let's talk. Sorry, I had to check something on the slides. Also, hi Yuzu. The quote for today is "Bye bye, brah. Who even needs a bra?" Maho 2021.
This is going to be a good stream. I like this stream. The stream has been blessed by that quote.
Yeah. Fun fact. Guess what Maho's not wearing today? Okay, let's continue with the actual lesson. So, curses. Curses are kind of the opposite from general casting. Casting is a very, very technical and organized thing. It is very much based on elements. While curses are like very emotional, unpredictable, they're extremely hard to control, and they often don't have a real structure to them. Like, if you see the rune for a magic spell, you see a structure, you see like reappearing symbols, it is very clear to see what this spell wants to achieve. A curse doesn't work that way. There are the two main types of magical creatures that can cast magic that Amy mentioned before are element spirits and empath spirits, and they work the same way. Element spirits, who are, you know, the main people that especially pushed for the current magic system, very structured. They made sure that there are set rules there, so that as little hiccups as possible can happen. Where empath spirits are very emotional, very untamable. They still use the same way of magic, but there's like a surprising nice a correlation between them. So, a curse cannot be lifted as of right now. If you're cursed, you have to live with that curse. There's right now not the technology and not the wisdom there to actually unravel a curse and lift it. Spoiler warning, the book is highly talking about this topic. Curses, but however, are not inherently evil. There are positive curses. The thing that makes curses illegal is because they're irreversible. The second thing is they can backfire very, very easily. And they often require harmful sacrifices. Like some magical spells need as magical component, for example, like a drop of blood. Curses, however, sometimes literally require like an entire arm from your body. Like what curses also makes very illegal is that you cannot just use magical components to cast it. The curse almost always uses your own body as a magical component, meaning that if you use a curse, you cannot know if suddenly your entire left arm just disappears, or if your entire blood is drained, if you lose your vision. That is the thing with curses. It is very hard to predict what the curse will take from you. The more emotional you are during the curse, the stronger the curse is, but the higher the price. There are cases.
A curse is basically magic is angry at you.
There's like kind of elite. There are like legal curses out there, but like they have the curse itself is not legal, but the way how the curse happens is not illegal. This will not be discussed here in detail, but there are magical contracts. In this, we will not go over what are the requirements for contracts are for now, but just know if a contract is broken by one party and not just like ended with both parties agreeing, the party that breaks the contract will sever the magical connection between both parties, unleashing the magic that was flowing between both parties. And this unleashed magic functions similar to a curse. So depending on like who you made a contract with and how strong this contract was, there is a chance if you break off the contract, you will be cursed. This is the payment you have to give for breaking a contract. But there are many safety measures to stop curses from stop contracts from breaking, so you don't have to worry about that. Just know, don't do curses. There are examples in history of generational curses that people still have to live with today in almost every country on this planet. In the country we are in right now, we have the Werebeast curse. This curse persists for like 1,000 years by now. And it's still very active and still has people suffering through it. Most people got used to this curse and are not affected by it anymore, but the curse still stands.
So, are curses just the chaotic side of magic?
Kind of,
or
yes.
like the whole...
Yeah, curses are basically magic that is not controlled. You can't choose the effect of a curse. You can't choose the price of a curse. Like, it's one of the more common examples of it is if you break a magical contract. As I said earlier, like it's when magic is angry at you. So if you break a magical contract, this is the thing that is keeping them in. It's not laws that are keeping them in force. It's magic itself. If you break a magical contract, you will be cursed by magic. You can't pick the curse. You can't pick the cost. Like sometimes the cost will be worse than the curse. That is why it's so illegal to try and willingly invoke a curse, because you cannot fucking do shit about it.
Curses are powered by emotions, but can you use rune magic to affect emotions? Because that's what I was going to say when I read over it. There were no spells that affect emotions or affect like feelings or the soul, or you know
stuff like that would be definitely outside the rank of D rank. That would probably be like A and A plus, like offensive stuff that affects other people is highly restricted.
Okay, so it does exist, it's just not you're not teaching it to us.
I didn't wrote it. I thought that. Okay, so here you see the thought process between two authors. I personally think everything that like is affecting someone, some other person's or your own emotional state with magic, should be considered curses, because it's like there's no like emotions are not logical. Magic is mostly very logical. It follows certain rules. Your emotions don't follow rules, so aka in my opinion, every like magic that like has to do with changing emotions or affecting emotions should be considered curses. But that's like TLDR, the authors haven't thought about this because that's a very touchy subject. Because that like goes in the mind control territory, force love spells, etc. So we haven't touched that topic yet in creating magic. For now, this is nothing for your concerns. But I will, however, keep in tab and see what Amy thinks if we should include. Maybe there are some potions that can invoke, for example, happiness, but that has more to do with the ingredients than just the magic itself. But potion making is also more of a C rank thing and not a D rank, so don't worry about it. So let's go to the magic measuring. Because magic can indeed be measured. So there are two main types to measure magic. There is the mana level. The mana level is the amount of magic someone or something can hold in total. It is a constant for object, so there you can maybe charge an object with mana, but you cannot go over a certain amount. While living creatures can do training, or using potions that do have severe side effects. But through training, meditation, you can increase your mana level. meaning you can increase how much mana can your body hold in total. The second thing is magic concentration, and this is how much magic remains in your body. So it does, like, no matter what your mana level is, if you didn't use magic, you had a restful night, your magic concentration is 100%. And if you use magic, the percentage will be lowered. Living creatures can regenerate their magic. Objects only rarely can do that, but they can be recharged. The lower the concentration is of your mana, you do get symptoms that are similar to like blood anemia. So like if you're losing blood, your body cannot handle to have 0% magic. So it is highly advised to not go under a certain percentage level, because it is highly unhealthy. You can get random nosebleed. You can feel dizzy. Your vision can be blurry. There are a lot of things. You should be highly careful with it. Especially non-magic users should be very careful with using Magitech, because non-magic users have an even harder time to increase their mana level. So using Magitech can be very draining for them.
Yeah. So you use like a small amount of magic just doing day-to-day stuff. So the more actual magic you use, the less magic you've got left to do the day-to-day stuff. Like, for example, breathing and circulating your blood and standing up. So Eden, stop casting and maybe you'll be able to move.
Well, magic is a fundamental life energy.
Yes. Your body needs magic to live. If someone dies, their body loses all the rest of their magic. Meaning that a corpse is the only thing that has 0% magic in their body.
Where's the magic go when you die?
What was that, Sonny? Sorry?
Where does the magic go when you die?
There is something nifty called the magical sphere. Also, magic is just freely roaming in the air. So magic just like dissolves into nature again. Nature will just absorb this magical energy, but a lot of it will go into the magic sphere. But the magic sphere is the space that spirits, for example, live in. It is like an extremely thin layer that is wrapped around the entire planet. And on the inside of the magic sphere, it's like a little bit of a twisted world, like similar to the world that we are living in. Let's just call our world the mortal realm, and the magic sphere is the spirit realm. Spirits are not ghosts. Spirits are also living creatures. But spirits are creatures that are made almost exclusively out of magic. So, and magic that is not being absorbed by nature or just like roaming in the air is just, resting in the magic sphere until it just gets like reabsorbed in the cycle of life. Like how water is just cycling through things.
So, if I were to eat a creature with magical, do I gain any of its magical power, or kind of like how you eat food to gain the nutrients from something? Or does that magic just dissipate outside my body into the sphere?
If you just do normal food, you more or less killing the food so you can consume it most of the time, so you would not absorb it. There is, however, ways to make potions that keep the magic and like release the magic inside your body to increase your magical concentration. That is possible, but also mana potions are highly dangerous. You should not just consume them willy-nilly. In getting like a big boost out of mana out of nowhere is like drinking way too much energy drink. Your body you will have heart racing and other types of symptoms that will make you feel restless. And exhausted.
God,
sometimes.
you've just put an awful idea in my head for having a mana energy drink with it. Yokai energy it doesn't have taurine and alkatine. It just has small trace amounts of magical energy.
So
it is a problem. We are trying so hard to regulate it.
Write it down. I want that.
If you lose a limb, do you lose part of your magical level?
Not
your mana level?
Not your mana level. Your magical concentration will drop.
Okay, so
the amount amount of magic your body can hold will not change with the size of your body. But like if you lose a limb, all the magic that was inside of that limb will just evaporate. So you will suddenly feel like, like a drainage of magic.
Like blood loss.
Blood loss.
But once you can still get back up to the same level without that limb.
Yes.
Once the next day.
Yeah.
If you rest long enough.
If you rest long enough, if you got medical help, if someone stops the bleeding.
I think Sunny wants to bite someone's fingers off and see if that will give them a mana boost.
That brings an interesting question. Healing magic's a thing, right?
Yes, healing magic is indeed a thing.
If you use your own magic to heal yourself, do you keep that magic or does it go somewhere?
It goes somewhere because the magic that does an effect does something. So this energy is evaporates more or less.
I assume it takes less mana to heal yourself than it does to heal others, but in the same way that your body naturally heals, it uses energy, you will just lose a portion of mana guaranteed, whereas you have, because you're funneling it into yourself,
it would
be less.
To heal somebody, you are giving them your magic energy, and to heal yourself, you're using magic energy on yourself, and some of it is expended. No, to heal somebody, you are casting the spell, and that would expend the energy. Then the effect is that they are healed. They don't just get your magical energy.
Yeah.
So it would be the same regardless, the same amount of energy to do the same thing, no matter on who.
The only problem with self-healing is because you spend your magical energy, you become even more exhausted and tired. So depending on what level of wound you try to heal, it would be counterproductive because you could potentially faint before you're done healing the body part you want to regenerate.
Yes, there is one guy in a college somewhere trying to figure out how to use a spell to restore magical energy, so that he can have infinite magical energy. Everybody thinks he's a quack.
Yeah.
Plugging the power point into itself.
Yeah, exactly. He has exploded many times. Fortunately, the medics are very aware of his insanity and are just at hand now whenever he's working.
Exactly. So, what magic does is there is healing magic. There are two types of healing magic. There's the minor healing magic, and there is the major healing magic. But to do major healing magic, you need, if I remember correctly, at least an A rank, meaning you need to do immense amount of studies, and you still need a medical license to do it. So that also comes together. Meaning if you go to a doctor, you usually don't get a healing spell, you usually get, some medication in most cases. Because often, not always, but often using the magical energy to heal you is kind of more expensive than just giving you some medication and make sure you get the rest that you need to heal yourself. Because a doctor that has to do many healing spells cannot practice the entire day. Meaning for the rest of the day where he cannot practice anymore, he still has to get paid because he didn't just quit the job. It's just that he couldn't practice any longer. That's also many health insurances don't just cover any form of healing magic. Healing magic is covered by your health insurance, but only if it is necessary for your body to receive healing magic instead of medication and proper rest. So you don't have to fight for it to get it, but you have to maybe guess that you sometimes have to pay for it out of your own pocket. If you I don't know, a cat scratched you across the face, you can either get a big band-aid on top of it, get it disinfected and deal with it, get a healing potion that has a little bit of side effects, or you get the doctor to heal it immediately. If you can wait for it to heal, then you just take the medication. If you have a job interview in 2 hours and you cannot appear there with a giant scar across your face, you maybe want to pay the $20 or $50 to get it healed instead of just bandaged. But it is.
Maybe if you have a job
So I'm
interview in a
sick
few
all the
hours,
time
you should-
because I'm poor.
Again, if it's something that is necessary for you right now and it's necessary that you get the treatment, your health insurance will cover it. It's just, do you want to go to your job interview and explain that you rescued the kitten out of the tree and hope that that gives you sympathy points, or do you want to appear there super duper prim and proper and you really just want this doctor to make sure there's no mark in your face? Or maybe just you don't want to appear to a date instead. Job interview maybe is a bad example. Maybe you don't want to go to a date with a big scratch across your face. It's not life-threatening. It will heal in a couple of weeks, but you would have to explain to your date why you have that.
Yeah, we haven't worked a lot on the healthcare system, so we don't know the ins and outs and intricate details of that. But I imagine it would be relatively similar to, let's say, a non-American healthcare system.
Yeah, take a European healthcare system of your choice. We are covering for you. You don't have to pay for the ambulance. It's just, for example, in Germany, there's medication that is completely plant-based. So it's not medication that is necessarily needed, but it's magic, it's not antibiotic. Antibiotics are completely covered, but cough medicine is not covered or only partially covered. And the same would go for healing magic. If your body needs that to recover, it is covered. If your body doesn't necessarily need it, you either have to cover it for yourself or you have to do different methods.
This is what you guys are here, because now we have an aspect of world building that we need to work on.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the part that is now important for the quiz later. The rune system. I spent a lot of time, so please listen up. Those runes are also on the sheet I put into the Discord server. You can just keep it open. On the site, download it, I don't know, print it and hang it on your wall. Do whatever you want with it. So, the 4 basic elements of magic are water, fire, air, and earth. Every spell needs an element in it. But this element doesn't necessarily mean you need that element specifically, but the effect this element has. So for water, aside from the fact that it is water, it also has healing and moisturizing effects, meaning you can just turn things wet. or like heal small scratches. Fire has the effects of warmth and light. Air has an elevation and cooling effect. Earth has a strengthening and shielding effect. And then elements can be combined. I will show you afterwards the elemental star that shows you how they're all connected. Wait, I can go one slide forward, show you the element. This is the elemental star. This elemental star is like showing how those elemental combinations happen. But we will go back to this one. So there are 2 elemental combinations. I was kind enough to write down on the side for you what elements are combined to create this element. We have fog. What is fog? Fog. Fog, what is used for illusion and concealing. We have lightning that can create electricity or can use to charge something. We have sand, what is used for filtering and refining effects. Flora is very self-explanatory, has to do with manipulation of plant growth and manipulation of plants itself. Ice has a freezing effect, but also a holding in place effect without like the spiky ice crystals. We have metal that has to do with harden and changing the metal or material type of something. And then there are the 3 elemental combinations. What are acid, that is used for dissolving and polishing. Steam, what is to create energy and change the flow of energy. Crystal, what is used for fortune telling and big barriers. And life, what is used to animate object, reviving in a very small scale that is not like a human reviving thing. It's like reviving a couple of cells kind of magic, or reviving a just died plant.
Yes, you can't bring back the dead, Edward. I'm sorry.
And advanced healing also uses the life rune. And then there's the combination of all 4 elements, what creates the beginning and end. It represents everything between creation and destruction. It is commonly used when you make very big barriers that needs to encapsulate a big region and have to block off almost everything, or if you make a spell that needs to reach very far. You don't use it often, but it is in use. Here again is the magical star. You also have that on your handout sheet. And the second part of magic runes is the magic manipulation. This is how, when you use an element, you then tell how this element is manipulated to have a magical effect. We have the main manipulation, what is creation, alteration, and destruction, and then we have sub-alterations, what are including all 5 senses, positive and negative. By the way, positive and negative doesn't need to mean just positive and negative. It can also mean multiply and reduce, heightening good and bad. It's just like one side and the other side. And then there is time. But let's not get ahead of it. Creation has anything to do with creating something. So you have creation itself, you can create a sensation, you can create the growth of something, and you can create a movement. Alteration is to either change, rebuild, or combine things. Destruction has to do with separating things, erasing things from existence, or just absorbing something. The 5 senses are clear. There are very few spells that need all 5 senses being mentioned, but there are some high-level illusion spells that try to make illusions that have effect on all 5 senses. That's, for example, for like very vivid dreaming used, but that's like not for this lesson. Positive and negative I already explained. Time is not changing time. It is not advancing time. It is not reversing time. It is the effect time has on something. You can, time is either used to, for fortune telling or just like for like looking into the past, but you can only like create images, like illusions of what could come or what has happened. But it's like hard to control. It is hard. You need to keep concentrating on it. You cannot do a lot on the side while doing it, because usually people want visuals, so you cannot open your eyes while you're looking in the past or future, and especially the future is something that is constantly changing, so whatever you see in your visions doesn't need to happen necessarily. The further you look, the more unlikely it is something is going to happen the way you see it. If you use a spell that has to do with time on certain objects, for example, to make something look newer, you don't just turn back time to make it look newer. You just like remove the effect that time had on this object. It is still the same object. Doesn't have warranty again. It just looks like it should still have warranty.
Question.
Yes.
So say if I have a broken clock,
Yes.
how would using time to bring it back to working again versus using rebuild?
Rebuild is more, you have something, for example, a toaster, and you cast a rebuild spell on it, meaning you take all the parts from that toaster to be turned into something else that is not a toaster, like a mini oven.
Rebuild isn't the spell itself. Rebuild is an aspect of the spell.
Yeah, rebuild is just a way how you manipulate magic, like you rebuilding something. Like the rebuild is not just the effect. If you just draw the rebuild rune on something and put your hand on it to cast magic, nothing happens.
Well, what I'm getting at is, if I wanted to repair a clock, would it be the time or the rebuild that the part of the spell of the runes I use? Which one would I use?
That's actually a very easy answer. It's whichever one you're better at.
Yeah, it's both.
Okay.
So,
There are, like, magic is developed worldwide. There are sometimes magical spells being developed at the same time with the same effect, but they're differently structured. At the end, the spells that are commonly used are the spells that are proven to be the more innate one that people go to use. You can produce similar or even the same effects with different runes. You just need to understand how they work.
Okay.
Like, there are probably 6 or 7 different ways to write Fireball, but you're going to use the one that you were taught in your Fireball class, you know?
Are these runes cultural or universal?
Universal. Rune language that are part of, that will come late in a later slide. The magic language, Malin, that also includes the rune, is a universal language. Well, let's just go to the next slide that actually talks about this. Malin is the magical language. It is a universal language that originates from the magic sphere. So this language originates from spirits that actually know how to speak it. It is spirits and magical creatures that can comprehend language, for example, dragons, consider Malin their native tongue. It is, however, extremely hard to learn Malin as a language for humans. Like, usually you are only get taught how to cast spells with Malin. You're not taught how to read it. Those are very highly specific classes you have to take in the academy. This is not like a main course thing. We are still to this day try to decipher certain scripts that are written in Malin, and let's just say some of the folks of the spirits are not very cooperative with the translation, so we're kind of stuck with it and figuring ourselves out. Runes are a way to write Malin. There are other ways, but we only teach runes, and everything above that is also way above this class level. Runes and Malin redirect magic and create an effect. Like, you will take the base energy magic, and by applying it on a rune or by using the vocal magical language, you change how the magic is working. You're redirecting it until it has an effect. There is a grammatical order for the spoken magical language. For the runes, you can always remember you need an element and a general manipulation. Those are the only two things that are necessary for rune, depending on the spell. But usually it is element, general manipulation, sub-manipulation. In theory, there only ever one one general manipulation. There could be multiple elements and multiple sub-manipulations, but in theory, also hi Boo! In theory, there's only one general manipulation going on.
Why did that pin your message?
Hi, Blue.
I need to reply it and misclicked, apparently.
For the
So, question.
Yes.
Have you seen the Aztecs records of a bastard magical instructor?
A long time ago, I think.
Well, I asked because in the anime, a way they manipulate their magic is by changing the phonics of the word. To change the the spell did do the thing, but the output was different depending on the phonics. Can you do that with this magic system? For instance, fireball.
Not really.
Say I want to do a fireball. Okay, so I have to do a fireball. I can't do a fireball that either goes further or shorter or has more power.
You can change. Like, that is what mostly the sub manipulation is doing. With the sub manipulation, you change it a little bit, but like if you say the spell faster or slower, it doesn't change what the spell's doing. So for the vocal grammar, it is always element, general manipulation, sub manipulation, except for alteration, because alteration often includes more than one element. Then it is element, alteration, element, sub manipulation. For the speaking language, if you don't do it in this order, the magic will kind of work until you get it wrong, and then it either like fizzles out, or because certain manipulation forms are not applied, this spell just functions differently. You still lose the magic you wanted to use while casting, even if you mess up the spell right at the beginning, because you already sent out the magic to do something and then you messed up. often nothing really big happens, like a puff of smoke, a splash of water. But like higher level spells could get a bit out of like out of order. But the spells you learn almost never like require you to use the vocal Malin language, so don't worry about it. Like all the spells you can do as runes, and everything is fine. The Malin language is there, mostly used for offense magic, and offense magic is only taught at A rank and up, because you all are way too young and way too untrained to even learn how to actually cast the fireball and what material components you need for that. I would do it for this class specifically later, that if you want me to write down the spell fireball, I will do that. However, I will not tell you what magical components you need and what staff you need to cast fireball. You're all way too long.
Very, very trustworthy students who are being given this special course. This is not what you would normally taught at your level.
Yes. Also, the magic signature of someone or something can be used instead of the element if you know the magic signature or you looked out for the magic signature. That could, for example, cause a spell only affecting one specific object. But that is not that often necessary. Like if you write a rune on an object, it will affect the object. So, one sec. Let's go over how the magic language syllables look like. Magic spells are just like a continuation of these syllables. I would want to tap on my screen now, but this is my drawing tab. I'm not wanting to hit it with my pen, so I'm just hitting my pop filter. Those are the ones. Say them wrong while casting, and either the spell doesn't work or you cast something completely different, so make sure to learn them. Because this is a special class, you can keep your sheet of paper that shows you all the syllables. Especially for the elements. If you have an element that is a combination of multiple elements, you will read from the start clockwise, starting by water. In that order, you will put together the syllables. You technically don't need to do that, but practically, I will mark it as a spelling error in a test. Okay? So, for example, the rune for steam, what is a mixture out of water and fire, would be Wolfa. And that's how it works. It's just take the syllable, put them next to each other, and then they make an either short or long, really confusing looking word, and that is your spell. Okay. Amy, anything in chat I need to address before I continue?
No, we're just talking about how people with disabilities access magic.
Yep. That is actually a good point I just want to mention. People with disabilities can still cast magic. There are so many forms and ways to cast magic. So if you have it in disability in any way, there's usually also a way to make magic still accessible for you. And in worst case scenarios, there are still Magitech that also helps you with accessibility. Okay, example time. Let's see if Maho can get the example time work. One second. Okay. Here we have the canvas. Let me just share it in Discord. Change screen. You guys need to see this one. Okay. Let me just quickly go through some of my trusted notes. And put on my drawing glove. I will showcase you now how to write a rune. And then you can just like ask for spells you maybe want to see how it's written. Okay, let's start with the rune that probably most of you will learn as the first rune that they get taught. And that is the rune for light. So, the aspect of light is in the element fire. So, we need the line for the element fire. The main manipulation we are using is a sensation, because we only want the light from the fire. This is the rune for sensation. And now we go to the sub-manipulation, and we want visual, because we want to see the light. And this is your light rune. The symbols can be written in different sizes. You can also write the light rune like this. And it still works. It's just those parts of the rune all need to be present to cast the spell.
Question.
The runes are in the talk show chat. You can access the list there.
My
go
question is... Oh, sorry. Yeah, my question is, okay, so I'm assuming these runes will activate when you pour your magic into them,
Yes.
correct? Can you use a time rune to basically set a time for when you want the rune to turn on? Say, like, you want your street lights to turn on at a certain point in time, but you don't want to constantly have to go out and turn them on.
That would technically be possible. You would like make with the oh god. Well, now I have to think, because I never wrote a timer. It is possible to have a timer. So what you do...
Also, would need some way to provide it with the magical
Yep,
energy that is normally done from the caster, but you can like throw a fucking magic battery in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. So for example, you put into the street lanterns a small magic stone. I mean, this magic stone has the magical energy that is needed, and then you would either use a rune or even use magitech that would go through certain times where the magitech would just have an absolutely normal timer, and the normal timer would activate the rune when it is time. Like, you could technically just do it completely with magic, but we're in the modern age. I think like there are certain ways where you can just make it easier for everyone involved.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is an example of something that is possible, but there's an established power grid, and it's way easier to just use that. Like there will be some suburbs that have upgraded to this, but most of the place will go on the established grid already.
Yes.
Okay. So if I wanted to set like a delayed fireball, or
well, if you want,
or a
if
cleaning
you
spell that
yeah, like
pops after I leave the room.
yeah, like you would probably rather use a Roomba or that has like a magical Roomba that just like has the effect on more surfaces than just the ground, then instead of making a big magical formula just to have a timer included.
No. I've watched Fantasia. Magical cleaning is a bad idea.
Like what you,
So
for example,
basically, there's no convenient way to stall an activation in the room. You have to more or less activate it when you cast it.
yeah,
It
like
would be possible, but there wouldn't be a way to like set a timer because there's no way to incorporate numbers. Like numbers are a human construct, not a magical construct.
yes, like even in the olden days, people rather like just made golems that would just clean if they're told to clean, instead of like sitting there for 5 hours constructing a magical spell, and then that they can remotely activate by not being in the room, but activate at a certain time. Because like your magic is necessary to activate the spell. So you either need to activate it in that moment, or you need something to store the magic in to be activated later. And the moment you store the magic, it will be considered magitech instead of just casting.
So this is an example of our favorite line so far. That is possible at much higher levels. The rune for that would probably look like a very long series of squiggles.
Yeah.
And take a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
This is like thesis level magic that people are working on.
Yeah, like if you wanted, for example, like even in like medieval times, if you wanted magical booby traps, those were not just spells. Those were like old school magitech that still functioned with wood and also with those sand clocks? Amy, sand clocks? Or did I have hourglasses that functioned with hourglasses, weighted plates, or anything else? Like, it was still magitech. It is not the high technology magitech we have nowadays. It is still magitech because you not only use magic, you also use technology to have special effects that magic could provide you, but like using an hourglass is more effective. Spirits probably know how to do it, but even they just like create creatures or have things doing for them. Even spirits sometimes create magitech. They don't really need it, because for them magic is as innate and as simple as breathing in and out. But but spirits are not that keen on sharing all their secrets with us. They still think we're a bit too young to learn it. So we just need time and either figure it out ourselves or need to wait until spirits finally accept that we are not stupid monkeys anymore.
I'll teach you when you're 1,000 years old, kid.
Yes, that is certainly.
But it only lives to 80.
Can I see the letter combination again? The like magic language combination.
For the spell.
It's in Prokocha.
Yeah, I provided it in Prokocha.
But like,
or do you just
how do we combine them?
Oh, okay, it's.
How do you make a sentence? Did we see that?
That is element, general manipulation, sub-manipulation. So in this case, it would be bar for fire. Amy, you have the sheet open. What is sensation? Sha?
Leia.
Leia. Leia.
Let's see if this translates into German. It does.
Fa, Leia, and visual was?
Sha.
Sha. So if you would want to just cast a light spell, you would use your magical wand, hold it in the air, and say Fa, Leia, Sha, and your wand would start to glow. Or if you point your wand at something, that something is going to glow. If you...
Question.
Yes.
Wait.
Sorry.
I want to ask a question.
Go
ahead.
Eden first.
God damn it. If you're using a creation spell...
Yes.
If you're using a creation rune, but one of the sub-creations, do you use lair and, like, say you're using growth. Creation is lair, and then growth is LEI. Would you do lair lie, or would it just be lie?
Just lie. So the big three, creation, alteration, and destruction, have sounds, but they're not so often used. Like, except for like some, like, you know, like if you want to create a flame, you just use creation. But like higher or like more advanced spells don't use those things that often. They exist, they're still in usage, but they're not that often in usage.
And if they use multiple of a category, do you use, so that you would do fire, air, then you would do your 2 creation runes, and then you would do your 2 sub-manipulation runes? So it would be like Ze, Me, Noi, Le, and then Show.
Except for alteration, you are often, not always, often only use 1 element and 1 general manipulation. You often use
when you're
multiple...
using multiple elements, they usually combine. That's why we have the combined runes. So, like, if you use fire and air, for example, it makes lightning. So you wouldn't use fire and air; you'd use lightning.
Yes.
Okay, but those aren't on the list. That's why I was confused.
Oh yeah.
Because like it only says water, fire, air, earth there. It doesn't say like
because
life.
Let's go with
they're down below it in 2 element combinations.
fog is just what is
yeah. It tells us what the rune is for them, but it doesn't tell us what the vocal is
it
what
does.
I'm meaning.
The vocal would be the
Wolfa.
water vocal and the fire vocal.
Yeah, a clockwork.
That's what I was saying, and then you
Yes.
just said no. So I was confused. Yeah.
We
so,
misunderstood the question then.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
so like
I did
for life it would be Ze, Me, Wo then.
yes.
Okay, cool.
She learning.
So you do that, and then you do the sub stuff. Then you do the general runes. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Spells can have multiple sub-manipulations that can be named in whatever order, but like you usually start with Ascend, with Ascends, if there's one included. Then Reduction, like time is usually at the end, but it doesn't have to be. Just like the sub-manipulation needs to be at the end when you say it. Sunny, what do you want to ask? Do I need to erase something so that I have space to draw something?
No, these are perfect. Okay, the first question is for the Fa-le-sha.
Hmm?
How together do I need to say that? Okay, can I say Fa? Le?
I'd like
Sha?
to step in
To get
there.
the spell?
Well,
Or do I have to say...
Until the spell is complete, it doesn't cast, so you can take as long as you want, but don't take the piss, because if it detects a completed spell, it will cast that completed spell.
yeah, like
Okay.
Fa-le is
Can you cancel?
could
Can you cancel a spell while you're in the middle of casting it?
a cancel spell?
Like, okay, so I'm about to
I
do
didn't hear you.
Fa-le-sha.
I didn't hear you. I
Oh.
asked.
I said, is it possible to cancel a spell
Yes,
before finishing it?
yes. You just stop using magic. So while you're casting, you're actively, like usually with the wand in your hand, you're directing magic into the spell. By like even if you vocally say it, the moment you point your wand at something or or just in a general direction, you are actively gathering magic at the tip of the wand. If you want to cancel a spell, you just stop doing that. This is a feeling thing that you get during practice.
So that probably answers my second question, which would be if I wanted to cast a light spell but not light up my wand, I'm just focusing on lighting up something else. I'm assuming while saying the spell.
Oh yeah, like if you can concentrate on a point in the air instead of the tip of your spell, you are just like directing the magic into the point of the air, where you just like kind of create a magical floating light bubble that will fizzle out after it consumed all the magic you poured in. commonly the first thing I would let you do is give you a stone, let you write with Sharpie the rune on it, and then you just press your finger on the rune, and you don't have to say the words, you just have to press your finger on the rune, concentrate your magic onto your finger, and then the stone starts to glow. That's usually the first thing that children bring their parents as presents, their first glowing stone. This is to start to learn how to control your magic flow.
So the very first part of magic is not the runes or the language, it's the intent and desire made focused through the runes and the language.
Yes,
Yeah.
so
this is the difference between a spell and a curse. The spell is intentional. The curse is accidental.
So say if I wanted to do fog, but I wanted more steam than fog, would I go fa with the intent of steam, or would I go fa woo?
steam and fog is something different.
Yes. But both of them require heat and water.
Oh yeah, but
fog is more cold. Yeah, so.
Yeah,
that would be a trial and error sort of thing. So while you're developing that spell, you would probably try a few various indications of it and a few various orders of it until you find the one that gives the effect that you want.
If two people cast the exact same spell, component-wise, but both had different intents for the outcome, would the outcome change? Like, say, two people on the exact, like, opposite side of the earth, never interacted before, were trying to cast a light spell. If one was trying to light up the tip of their wand, and then one was trying to, like, make a rock glow, would their outcomes be different despite using the same spell, or would they be the same and one person was just dumb?
In that example, it would be based on where the magic is directed to. So if you wanted to light up a rock, then you'd focus on the rock. If you wanted to light up your wand, you'd focus on the wand. The spell would be the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is intent.
Two people on different sides of the world made the exact same circuit. It would work exactly the same. But if the person in Australia plugged it into a TV, it would turn on the TV. If the person in England plugged it into their computer, it would turn on their computer.
Yeah, you also need to see that magic is just like an energy flow, and casters are people that are capable of controlling the flow of magic in their body. So what they're doing is they just concentrate the flow of their magic to either the tip of their wand, because the wand is functioning as an extension of their body, or into a rune and activate it, and the magic that flows through the rune or through your voice that reshapes the magic to cast the effect. It also has to do how much magic you use. Like someone that, we both could cast a light spell, but because I am a trained mage, I could put way more magic into the light spell, making the light way brighter. Or at least last longer than your light would go, depending on what the intent is.
Proving once again that Maho lights up every room she walks into.
So how would that change if, say, I want to cast a red light versus a blue light?
I assume that would just use the visual sub-manipulation, right? Color would be visual. Yeah,
it would be. It has also a lot of, again, with intention to do, and with your perception of color. Eden, I'm sorry to
So Eden, no, you couldn't color any of the lights.
Because you also have to what you perceive as maybe red, or if even red exists in your line of vision, Eden, and what Sunny sees as red are two different things.
Oh god, no. We do not have the time to go into the moral quandary of, is my blue the same as your blue?
Yeah.
So if I cast
the more common thing is
fire visual Asha to do light, and I want to cast it green, and Sunny does Farsha to cast red, but it just reads the intent of the visual element.
Yeah, but
The pronunciation is completely the same.
Yeah, the pronunciation is the same.
Pronunciation, you're doing that on purpose.
I have a lisp.
She
It's
does
not
it
an
correctly.
excuse.
Wait, she did it.
It's pronunciation. It's not pronounced pronunciation.
It's pronunciation.
That's one of my pet peeves. Pronunciation is pronounced wrong in most situations. It's pronunciation.
Question.
Sorry, carry on. I'll get off my soapbox.
All right. Here's a question. What if I was to make a rune,
Yes.
but then hold it up to the mirror, with reflecting the rune, which would change it, and try to cast the rune sign in the mirror? Could I do that?
You cannot put the mirror is just reflecting the image. You cannot send the magic through the reflection because the reflection is not written on the mirror. You can write a rune on the mirror and it will take the flow of the rune you've written down. The rune in the mirror is just like an image you are perceiving because you can see it. And because you perceive it because you're standing in the right angle to see the mirrored version, doesn't mean the magic can perceive it the same way as you. So you cannot cast the rune in the mirror and suddenly instead of fire casting air.
Okay.
But also
What about
many...
if you write it on glass and then flip the glass over?
That would be
So that the rune
highly...
is flipped, but it's still written on it.
What if you took a photograph of a rune?
You could use a photograph, but depending on the spell, the photo paper would not be able to withstand the magic until the magic is fully finished casting. So the piece of paper probably would just evaporate before any magic effect takes place. Glass is also like...
Can you check my mic? I want praise.
Okay. Where is it? Where do I have to look?
Talk show chat.
Talk show chat. Okay.
My Discord is currently occupied by talk show chat.
So,
Oh
also
my
for,
god,
for-
Eden, what did you try to write? Okay. So, wait, let me see. Is that an actual functioning rune? If yes, should I try to decipher it? Because because this is multiple general manipulations, what you usually don't do. Okay, so we have
Yeah,
I
again,
started making this before the part of the lesson. That's what the top one was intuition, and then I redrew it based on what you said afterwards, and then found out that I pretty much did it right.
so
I also wrote that down before you taught us how the order.
so
I'm just
wind.
fucking cool like that.
Wait. Okay, let me go through. So says wind, me is earth, woes water. That would be life.
Healing. Yeah.
You wanted to write a healing spell. Noi is absorption. Correct?
Which
Like
is on the left.
like
Noile Leokai.
okay, Amy, tell me because I can only have one thing open at the same time. Lion Leo.
Right. Absorption, growth, movement, rebuild. You want to make a golem.
And
Healing.
and time. You wanted to regrow a limb?
It's shapeshift spell.
A shapeshift spell.
Right.
That is
Fat redistribution. Spell of transgender.
that is an
It's
interesting
cosmetic
way.
surgery, the spell.
That is an interesting way to write a spell. So,
So it's got the life rune in the middle,
mm,
and then it's got it's got hold on. Absorption on the left. It's got rebuild on the right, and then it's got growth and it's got movement in the middle.
Okay, so
Because it moves, absorbs, grows, and rebuilds, fat and body.
okay, wait, let me quickly see where's life. It's this is life. Okay. I tried to write the spell how I would.
Oh shit! I might have did. I think I did. In my second attempt, I think I did. Oh wait, no, wait. No, I used in my first attempt I used fire on accident instead of.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I would have burned someone's face off with the first ring.
Yeah, stuff like that, like specifically what you just mentioned, is why spells like this are much higher rank than D rank. Like, this would probably be somebody's fucking thesis spell again.
Yes.
That's what I said down below, is I'm trying to be teacher's pet and get kicked out for doing high-level magic early.
Okay, so this would be my attempt on this spell. So positive and negative are also just like to describe something that is opposite from each other. So I would rebuild one part. Like this rune would be written on your lower abdomen and be supervised by a doctor. And it
So
would
what
be...
you're saying is we found my succubus tattoo.
That would be cool.
The fact that there are no
That is
succubi
the one way
tattoos
for you.
there.
Legitimately, that does look like it could be made into a pretty cool succubus tattoo, or at least the center point of a succubus tattoo that's symmetrical, you know?
Yeah, so...
And then
this...
you have the wings coming up the top of one and the bottom of the other.
Something like that. Okay, so...
This is not the direction we expected this D rank casting class to go.
Okay, so the explanation for this is it is a rebuild spell that would be written on your lower abdomen, so it should affect your lower abdomen. It is a healing spell because it is rebuilding one thing to rebuild into the other thing. If you wanted, if you wanted both parts, you would probably use it, you would just do a creation spell, a form of creation spell. But there's like a lot of intent necessary and a lot of medical knowledge also necessary. So I don't think you would need to use multiple general manipulations to do it. You could probably do it, but like that is again very high level magic. People to this day still developing spells. There's still spells that are getting redeveloped to get simplified. So yes, this could how the spell look like, and my version could also function. And people would generally tend towards the version that has less runes and is easier to read. So
yeah, this literally happens in real life with algebra. There are like math problems out there with $1,000,000 fucking bounties on them that are literally just find a way to write this incredibly long equation very simply. We have got it as small as we think it is. If you can get it down to below 20 characters, we'll give you $1,000,000.
yes, and this is the same with magic. Like the magic runes we use here, are limited and are also technical. So since the development of magic started thousands of years ago, it looked way more complicated. Also, just so you know, if you want to write a spell